Hi, in today's video I wanted to share with you the vegetables that I planted in my garden and my experience gardening, what I've enjoyed, what I haven't, and yeah, without further ado, let's get into the garden tour. This is my garden bed and it is abundant and I absolutely love walking out a few times every day to see how it is doing, how it is growing, what is happening in it. Originally, I planted some spinach at the front of the garden bed, but sadly they dried out from the heat wave, so now I decided to replace it with 3 potatoes from my kitchen that had started to sprout, and hopefully they will yield me some new potatoes in a few months. I also planted some carrot tops in order for them to flower and for me to collect the seeds for next year. And honestly, I'm also experimenting to see if they regrow underground, so I will be leaving them in all summer. If you know the result, please let me know in the comments below. I'm just curious to find out. I also planted 3 collard green plants, and they have been growing beautifully and abundantly. Every week or so, I get maybe between 10 to 15 new really big leaves. And we have already used so many of them. I also planted some rainbow kale and it grew so nicely at first and I harvested a few times. I also love the flavor of this kale, but sadly recently it has been constantly consumed either by bugs or maybe other animals. I also planted 3 broccoli plants, and what I learned is that I accidentally planted them too soon, and due to the heat wave they have not been growing properly, and instead of creating a broccoli head they sprout to different directions basically and then start to get burnt. So that is very sad to me. But the same thing also happened with the cauliflower plant. I now learned that I should plant those more towards the fall time rather than at the beginning of the summer. But it is all about just learning from the experience and gaining new knowledge. I also have a cabbage plant that has been growing super nicely, and we have used already some of its leaves. We also have an oriental eggplant growing, which is such a beautiful plant to see grow. The flowers are purple and yellow and they bloom so nicely. And we already have 1 eggplant that has fully grown, which is amazing, and another flower has just started sprouting, so hopefully soon we'll have another one. We also have 2 plants of romaine lettuce, and originally I was planning to get a head of romaine lettuce and then just cut it off, but what I learned is that actually I can let it grow vertically and then just cut out leaves as I need them. And I've been eating so many salads using some romaine leaves from the garden, and it's so nice to have that. I also planted originally 3 plants of red lettuce leaves, but only 2 of them are currently still alive. And again, I let them grow pretty vertically in order for them to continue producing leaves and for me to continue enjoying them. We also have 2 different types of cherry tomato plant. One is of yellow cherry tomatoes and the other one is of red cherry tomatoes. And so far we have had a lot of tomatoes grow, but none of them have really turned into their colors, and the ones that did turn yellow or red have sadly been already consumed by animals and not by us. We also have 1 heirloom tomato plant, and quite a lot of animals decided to eat it even before it ripened. So far, even though we have had some heirloom tomatoes grow, we have not been able to consume any. We also have 3 cucumber plants within the bed, and I absolutely love cucumbers, so I was very excited to see how beautifully they grow. They grow pretty quickly and in a pretty big quantity. We have currently on the plant, I believe, like 3 or 4 cucumbers developing that will be ready within a week, and maybe another 2 or 3 within 2 weeks, and I absolutely love that. but sadly also some of the cucumbers that bloomed ended up drying up because of this heat wave. And then we also have 2 plants of zucchinis, and these plants for now only had a lot of male flower, and we still have not gotten any female flowers, which basically turn into the actual vegetable. So I will continue waiting patiently and see if I'm able to get any female flowers this year. And that is all for what is inside the garden bed, but also we have a few different pots on the side of the garden bed in which I planted the seeds of tomatoes and bell peppers, and I wanted to experiment and see if I can grow anything from them, and they have been growing beautifully. It might have been a little bit too late in the season, to be honest, so I don't know if they will actually yield any vegetables this year, but it was a fun experiment, and I hope that next year I can start them a little bit sooner. And also in one of those pots we have another cucumber plant that has been growing nicely but not yielded any cucumbers so far. I also wanted to share with you a little bit of my experience being outdoors and working in the garden. I have really started to love doing that. Now every day, if I don't go out to the garden multiple times a day, I feel like I'm missing something. And I have been loving also being outside with the plants, pruning them as it's necessary, also collecting what is ready for us to eat. And simply observing the beauty of nature, because nature is truly beautiful and the processes that happen outside in nature are magnificent. No other word for it. For example, the other day I saw how different bees were pollinating my cucumber plants as well as the tomato plants. And along with the joy and the beauty that the garden brings to me, there are also some frustrations, of course. So, for example, when I learned that the broccoli and the cauliflower won't grow properly because I planted them too early, I was frustrated, and that was on me. But I also see other things that frustrate me in the garden that I don't have control, such as when I see a cherry tomato starts to ripen and the next day when I go out, it is gone because some animal chose to eat it. Or when I saw that the heirloom tomato has been bitten by some animal and then filled with ants. But all in all, I really have been loving the process of gardening, and with time and experience, I believe that I will become more successful with it. And one of my favorite parts of having a garden is being able to go outside, get some fresh veggies that I grew, and cook with them. I love being able to just pick up some lettuce leaves and some kale leaves and a cucumber to make a salad with. I also love picking up the eggplant and cooking it as a side dish for dinner. And I also loved when my mom stuffed the cabbage and collard greens from the garden with some rice and lentils. It tasted so delicious. And to me, gardening just brings a sense of peace. That is all for the garden tour. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like it. If this was your first time here, make sure to subscribe down below to join the Living Life Simply community and never miss another video. And also please share this video with anyone you think might enjoy it. And let me know in the comments below if you have any gardening tips for me. I will always appreciate those. And I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye!